Welcome back, everyone. Betska the Guru Coach, together with my very handsome co-host from Delhi, India, Raj Vashisht. Mindful Leadership Beyond Borders welcomes Naomi Simpson, who is a coach and astrologer from Canada, my
Toronto
home
sunny
country.
vibes.
Yes. And in part one, we had a very robust discussion about a number of things. And in this segment, let's begin with Naomi. How can corporate leaders use astrology to strengthen their leadership and the success of their own organizations? What do you suggest?
Thank you. That's a wonderful question. And I think so astrology definitely has a role to play in creating, successful companies for sure. And primarily in its role, I think around communication. So your communication preferences, your love language, whether that's at work or at home, this is all evidenced in your horoscope, your astrology chart. And understanding that can help you to put the right players in place. We want to make sure we have a team that's balanced overall in terms of the elements of the chart. You need, people who've got the ideas, that's fire, people who, that creative spark. Then we need people who are able to take it from conception to fleshing out what this is going to look like and actually grounding it into reality. And that's more of going from fire to air to earth and water. And so we can, you can actually utilize it for even just creating your team, but also facilitating conversations between team members. So utilizing the charts to understand what people's communication preferences are and just to foster more sort of tolerance, understanding, because often what I see in individuals and in bigger groups is that we go through life assuming that people see the world the way we do, communicate the way we do, have the same preferences, and then we get frustrated when people are different. And astrology helps us to see, okay, this is my communication style, but this person may need to, need to like sort of mull over the idea for a while, reflect on the ideas, think it through before they're prepared to offer their feedback. Whereas somebody with a different communication style might be, more able to like think on the fly, respond more quickly. So to me, it's all about fostering understanding, tolerance of other people's point of view, and that helps create greater cohesion.
But also, isn't it about, I think it's very exciting what you just described. When you're hiring people, figure out what their chart is, right? So
absolutely,
you're not just hiring. We use the DISC assessment in our business, but imagine if we were to use astrology as well. That you can't have everybody being domineering people, right? You want to have the creatives, you want to have the decision makers, you want to have the team players, you want to have the people who do the analysis, a real mixture, and people who are on fire and others who will sit back and think a little bit more,
Yeah, absolutely. So. And for me, when I'm hiring people to work with me, I know what my strengths are. I know what my chart shows me. And I know what I'm missing. And so I'm going to hire for that. I'm not going to try to fit a square peg into a round hole. I'm going to say, I can't be good at everything. These are my strengths. Here's where I'm weak. So this is where my, the skills gap is, or the interest gap, or whatever. And that's what I'm seeking. And you better believe that when I work with somebody, I look at their chart because I want to see what are their inherent gifts and how can I maximize it? Does their chart, sort of speak to what their resume is showing me?
Very interesting. Wow, I love it. This is a science.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This
astrology's been around for thousands of years, and it was only, about 300 years ago that astrology and astronomy were divided, and astrology sort of went through this being discredited and seen as like a parlor trick or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think that people are starting to understand there's much more to it than, what meets the eye initially.
Hmm. So, would you describe astrology as a spiritual tool?
Yes. For me, it is. It's to me, it's
Okay.
in, I've been on, a spiritual path since the early 2000s, and I'm a certified yoga teacher, and I have um, lots of different paths that I've followed, very strong spiritual practice. And I feel that astrology has been a really key part of that for me. Again, just in terms of understanding what I'm here to do and stepping into that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. We've been very aware about AI, um,
Mhm.
and the fears around AI. And Raj, during the pause, was having some fun with us to say that AI can't help you have a baby, or pull your tooth or whatever, right? Um, but tell us about what value does a professional astrologer bring to clients versus people thinking, oh, I'm just going to go and use AI to find out, what's in my chart now and what I should be aware of and what I should stay away from, blah, 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 right? Well, what's the value
Oh,
of a
that's a
professional one?
great question. It's so timely. And a colleague of mine just recently was posting about this. And I know a lot of people are turning to AI. It's funny because the astrology shows us this. We had Pluto shift into the sign of Aquarius, and boom, AI was on everybody's lips, and everybody was trying out Chat GPT. So the astrology kind of predicted all of this. So this is no
Hmm,
surprise. Um,
cool.
and to me, AI is it's a useful tool. I have some big problems with AI, primarily the environmental cost of AI, and the use of AI that is just like you don't need AI and you're using it. So to me, it's sort of that I'm using a sledgehammer when I could just, like it's overkill. So when people are using AI for every single internet search, just use your DuckDuckGo or Google or whatever. You don't need AI to do a search for you. To me, AI there's many good uses of AI for efficiency as a tool for, if you're learning a language or whatever. I know that's been super helpful for friends of mine who are, newer Canadians who are working on improving their English. So AI has been really
Sure.
helpful.
Hmm.
But when you're trying to use it as in astrology, there's tons of incorrect information. So this colleague of mine was doing an experiment. The AI answers didn't even give the correct position of the planets right now. So that was a really big
Oh,
problem. Yeah.
wow.
And she was just asking some pretty simple questions. So you're going to get a lot of misinformation. You're going to get, to me, really cookie cutter. Like, this is the recipe book of what it means when you have like Sun opposite Saturn or whatever.
Hmm.
And an astrologer is going to, I have read thousands of charts. I have sat across from hundreds of different clients, or probably thousands at this point, and ask them, what was happening for you when this was going on in your chart. So I've actually heard people's stories firsthand. So then that gives me some insight into how it might play out for other people. So, in my experience, this is what this could mean. How is it playing out for you? Or let's talk
Ah,
about other times in life that you were in a similar situation. How did you
right.
handle it? How can you apply that learning to the cycle you're in now? So also, at minimum, just the human connection. A lot of people are, I have clients all over the world. We're connecting online. So it's wonderful that we have tools like Zoom to do that. But when I first start the call, sometimes when I've pulled somebody's chart and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, wow, they've got a lot happening. And my first question might just be, how are you doing? Like, I can see a lot is going on in your chart. Are you okay? And, I've had clients just burst into tears and say, like,
Oh,
you can see, like, oh, I've been through the ringer and this has happened and this has happened. And they just want somebody who can empathize. And
mm.
hear them and hold space for them. And AI cannot do that. Only another human being can do that.
True enough. Yes, yes, yes. Very good. One of the questions Raj had, and this will be our last question, I think. Lots of corruption in the world, Naomi, and I'm wondering what solutions you might have as an astrologer and or as a coach. How do we remove corruption? It's so big, yeah.
I know it is so big. I think, yeah, you know, the astrology to me, again, it is about that Pluto in Aquarius, which can speak to the people taking back their power, the power of the collective, the power of humanity. And I think it's easy for us to feel like there's nothing we can do. And, oh, this problem is too big. I can't solve it. And I don't believe that. I think that, first of all, I do think that humans are ingenious and innovative, and it's looking at practical solutions. But, you know, there are examples. Look at like Zoran Mamdani getting elected in New York City and like balancing the budget already. It's, you know, that to me is a great example of, you know, balancing the budget is possible. And, you know, they're like, if we stop sort of pandering to lobbyists and special interests and that type of thing, and again, start to give power back to the people. But it's about holding others accountable, not looking to government to save you, but doing what's needed in your own community. So that means getting involved. Like I'm a volunteer at my local food bank. I have been for years. I have always volunteered in my community. I see this as a responsibility, a social responsibility. I have my North Node in Aquarius, so that's a big part of who I am. And it's reminding everybody that you've got a role to play. And so play it and stop wasting your time looking at your phone, watching the news. Like think of we are so constantly distracted that keeps us from focusing on what we can do. And all of that, we just become numb because we feel so helpless when we are watching, you know, 24/7 news cycles of which are all focused on terrible news. Instead of anything good that's happening. So I think it's about being judicious about our time and our energy and knowing I have this finite amount of energy and time. And so how do I want to spend it? I want to spend it purposefully. And again, that's about coming back to that comes back to my work as a coach is, you know, one of my coaching programs is called The Third Act. And it's all about working with women who are at that transition and helping them quiet down the noise of the outside world and really step into their power, because that's what the third act of life is all about.
Wonderful. Naomi, we could be with you for hours and hours and have such a robust conversation. You have a great offering to the world, and we invite everyone to go to NaomiSimpsonastrology.com and check out what she has on her website and give her a call. Let her help you to look at your life to move more into your inner self. I think that's the better way for me to describe it. Really connect more so with your inner self. Thank you for being here with us today, and we hope to have you on our show again. Thank you.
Thank you so much.